Welcome to another episode of Something Like a Sportscast. Interesting week one has started, and the first game is in the books. The Washington football team escaped barely. We'll talk about it here in a second. Stay tuned. Week two was a doozy. We had the Washington football team and the New York Giants. It came down to pretty much the last play. It was quite interesting. Off sides. I mean, that had to hurt the locker room. You got to think about going into the locker room and you're looking at that guy like, really? You just cost us the game? 29-30, that's how it ended with the field goal. Yeah, quite interesting. I'm sure they're not very happy about that. They go down 0-2. But we got my guy, Nicodemus, in the house. That's awesome. I got a couple questions for Nick. I want to welcome him to the show. He's going to be somewhat of a regular here. Nick is my buddy. I'm going to go ahead and put him into the mix and let him really soothe himself into the ways of something like a sportscast. We're going to start out talking about Patrick Mahomes here. So we got Patrick Mahomes, Nick. Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. That's going to be our Sunday night game. How would you, I guess in your words, how would you explain this matchup? How would you preview this?
Well, we have a classic tale of two mobile quarterbacks that have solidified their legacy in the league already, with Jackson already getting an MVP and Mahomes already winning a Super Bowl. And there's a few classic moments, specifically the 2019 when Lamar Jackson had that 47-yard touchdown run versus the Bengals with that spin move. I'll never forget that. And in 2018, Mahomes put on a hell of a performance versus the Steelers, where he went 23 of 28 for 326 yards, 6 touchdowns, and an amazing passer rating of 154.8. This matchup is going to be another classic. They play each other at least once a year. They are both in the AFC, so it looks like it's going to be another barn burner.
And that player you're talking about, yeah, I believe he spun out of 2 defenders and took that and ran it all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. Yeah, I think this game is going to be pretty interesting, actually. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. These guys are both young. They've both actually have made it to the playoffs. Well, Mahomes twice. Last year, losing to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 years before that, he won the Super Bowl, very young age. But Lamar Jackson, he's had a chance, but I don't think his offensive core is tight enough to take them to where they need to be. I mean, they got the receivers, they had the running backs, and of course the injury bug comes in, and the injury bug basically ravages the whole running back arsenal. So they have to pretty much start from scratch. They do have the rookie Tyson Williams. The guy he's good. I mean, you got to keep in mind he's a rookie, but he's good. They can give him the bulk of the carries, I would say, in this game coming up here. But I would venture off to say that they're going to mix a little bit of Latavius Murray, and I believe Freeman has been activated off of the practice squad as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Last game, Patrick Mahomes threw for 337 yards with 3 touchdowns. He had 18 yards on the ground as well with 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions. That's 4 touchdowns. Regardless of how you add it up, that's 4 touchdowns. The guy's he's amazing. I mean, you got to sit back and really, really watch in amazement as far as what this guy does. We have a lot of years to go to watch Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited about it. And on our other hand of the ball, we got Lamar Jackson. In the loss to the Raiders, they went 19 for 30. He went 19 for 30 through the air with 235 yards. He rushed 12 times, no touchdown for 86 yards. That's not going to cut it. It's just not. I think that the Ravens have to reassemble, I guess you would say. They have to bring it back to the drawing board, put it back at the beginning, bring it back to, I hate to say last year, but I mean, we're starting a new year. So at the beginning, we want to have it fresh and start over. So I'm guessing, just throw this out there now, that the Ravens might take this game against KC. We'll talk about that later in the show. All right. So, Nick, got a question for you, buddy.
All right.
What do you think about this Aaron Rodgers Green Bay ordeal? What is your take, I guess you would say?
Well, there's a few things about this whole Aaron Rodgers debacle. Basically, he's publicly voiced his dismay with the Packers organization and how they have not really been including him in the offseason decisions, such as drafting or trades or anything of that nature. And I understand where he's coming from. He's the most important player on the team by far, and he should have a say, at least a somewhat of a say in what happens in those decisions, such as drafting and they should draft in the first round. And they clearly needed some weapons to take him to that next level, possibly a Super Bowl. In the last couple of years, they could have possibly done that if they would have had a weapon alongside or on the opposite side of Devontae Adams to take the pressure off of Adams, because he can't do it all, even though it seems like he really can. So those are my thoughts about that.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, if you want to just get into it a little bit, this Aaron Rodgers ordeal, I mean, this guy doesn't show up for camp. He doesn't show up for anything, actually. He shows up a week or 2 weeks before the NFL preseason starts, and it's like everything's okay. Well, Mr. Rodgers, it's not okay with your team if you're not going to show up and you're saying that you're not going to play there, and it just brings a lot of drama and divide, I guess, to the team. But I will say this: it's Aaron Rodgers. Okay, now Aaron Rodgers, they're going against Jared Goff this weekend here with the Detroit Lions. Goff, he threw for 57. He threw 57 passes. 57. That's a lot in one game. 57 passes for 38 completions, 338 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This guy did, right? 1 interception. But I mean, 57 passes. I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, you want to be perfect, but you might throw 1 interception in there somewhere after 57 passes. Goff has a big arm. He's still young. Everybody's familiar with the trade quarterback for quarterback, which was the Rams and the Lions. Now, the Lions got the likes of Matt Stafford. But I think all in all, Goff is pretty young, so I would say Detroit kind of won on this. I would say watch out for Detroit as well. Detroit's going to be kind of scary coming down here. They just need a few more pieces to put it all together, I think. Detroit needs a few more pieces. Once they get those pieces in place, Detroit will be all right. I think they'll be fine. Now, you have Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the ball, right? You got Aaron Rodgers, and he had a horrible game, but you can't really count that against him. I mean, you go 38-3 loss. He threw 15 for 28 with 133 yards. You got to put it together. But we've seen this before. We've seen this before with Aaron Rodgers. We've seen this before with the Green Bay Packers. It's happened, and then they go on this tear through the NFL. They go through this tear for 4, 5, 6 weeks straight, and they just dismantle their opponents. You have to imagine they have Devontae Adams. He is a threat. It doesn't matter where you throw the ball, how you throw the ball. This guy will get to the ball. Devontae Adams is absolutely amazing. This guy, that's what he's there for. They pay him the big bucks for a reason. You have Valdez-Scantling. Hey, he's a sneaky one in there. I mean, he'll get there left and right, but you got to keep an eye on Valdez. You got to keep an eye on Scantling. This guy, he will get the. You watch back here a couple years ago. This guy was a big target, big factor. He helped Devontae Adams out a lot. Switched the coverage up. Now can't double team. You have the double team both sides. So we'll see what happens with that. And they got the tight end, Tunyon. Tunyon he's pretty good too. Tunyon ripped it up last year. He's a big target, really big target. So Aaron Rodgers has something to throw to there over the middle. Not to mention Aaron Jones, the running back. Now, Aaron Jones, he's Aaron Jones. I mean, what more do you say? He's Aaron Jones. Everybody has him top 4 in fantasy pick. Aaron Jones is obviously a great pick, obviously. So, I think Green Bay puts it together. I think at the end of the day, Green Bay figures it out, and Aaron Rodgers does things that Aaron Rodgers does because it is Aaron Rodgers. Now, we're going to transition the show a little bit here, I want to, and we're going to just give you our times 10. Now, we do this here before Sunday to give you a fold of what we feel as if a times 10 bet will be. So my times 10 bet is going to be a little different this week. My times 10 bet is going to be on the money line with the Ravens. The Ravens, I believe the Ravens are going to, this is my upset of the week now. The Ravens, upset of the week. They're at a plus 170 for the upset on the money line. So that's my first of the times 10 here. So we're going to scroll down a little bit, and I got the Cardinals versus the Vikings. Now, the Cardinals put up a lot of points. They put up a lot of points, and I think with the Minnesota Vikings offense, if they can get it rolling, they can also put up a lot of points. I don't think the Vikings win this, but I will say that the total for the money line will be 50.5. They will go over 50.5. That's the second part of my times 10. Now we're going to move on down to the last part of the trifecta. Trifecta is what I like to call it. The trifecta is Green Bay and the Lions. And I'm going to go over 48.5 for Green Bay and the Lions. Over 48.5. These teams have shown they can put up some big numbers. The Lions put up a lot of points last week, and I think Green Bay rebounds. I don't think they come out and give a 3-point effort this week. And that's it here today from Something Like a Sportscast. We appreciate you for coming out and checking us out here. You can follow me on Twitter at Dre Giles, or you can follow us at SL Sportscast.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nicodemus21.
Thank you, and you guys have a good night. Something Like a Sportscast.